Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Om Krim Kalike Namaha. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps to support this channel. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the new moon, which will be happening on July 5th in Gemini. So Gemini is all about communication, transport, writing, siblings, just to name a few things. This one is actually pretty auspicious in a way because on July 6th until July 15th, we have Ashadha Navratri, which is the celebration of the 9 forms of goddess Durga, which is the form of Shakti. And what is Shakti? Supreme power. So what you can do on these days is every day equals a goddess, and that goddess actually equals a planet. And if you do the mantras to the goddesses, you're going to be able to harness and actually improve your planets as well as your connection to Shakti and your own personal power. It will actually amplify your spiritual work thousands of times, they say. So this is a very, very important time to be doing your spiritual work, especially to the planets that you do require a little more help with. But there's nothing wrong with even helping the ones that are benefic in your chart. Now, I apologize for this one section that I'm adding in right now. If you watched my previous video about my predictions for July, I actually said that the moon would be in Ardhara Nakshatra when it's actually in Purnavasu. My apologies for that because Ardhara ends at 20 degrees and this moon is actually at 20 degrees and 11 minutes. So I looked at the 20 degrees and I was like, okay, it's still Ardhara because I do everything in my head. So my apologies for that, but it's still accurate because of how the fixed star is, which I will explain in this video. So I apologize if this sounds different than my previous video. So here are my corrections. And this is just for this section, and then I will come back and you will see my face in about 2 minutes. So this moon will be in Purnavasu, which is represented by the quiver full of arrows. An arrow can be used as a weapon or as hitting a target or a goal. It can also be a symbol of desire, like Cupid or Eros, and achieving such desire, especially because of Venus being in this nakshatra as well. It can show a partner, a relationship, or business partner coming to us who may be foreign, coming from a foreign land, business from foreign places, as Jupiter is the dispositor of this nakshatra in the 12th house. It's about something returning back to us, and this could be something or someone or some opportunity returning from the past, from this lifetime or the previous ones. This can include family as well because Mercury is in the 2nd house. This can also be a spiritual goal that is finally met and achieved by your own efforts. It is about the resources at one's command. This is something that you have been striving towards. These resources can now be brought into your life, especially for those who may have lost them at some point. It is a very favorable nakshatra to feel satisfied, optimistic, and thrive on many levels. Although there is an aspect of Saturn and Mars in this chart, which can create some serious issues at times, which we will talk about, this nakshatra helps us to feel safe for the most part and can cancel out any serious misfortune for some. It's a time to travel and feel adventurous. The caution comes as this is a new moon, which is closer to the fixed star Castor than the fixed star Pollux. These are 2 twin brothers. Castor can cause losses and can be very cruel, and this will depend on your chart. And this is the star that I was talking about in the intro, which is the fixed star that creates problems in Ardhara, but it's actually in Purnavasu. I know that's complicated, but I won't get into that. This will depend on your chart and can happen as Jupiter is in the 12th house, which is the dispositor of Purnavasu. The 12th house is the house of losses. Pollux brings us back what is lost. It is generous and kind to the native. It's important to understand both possibilities and sides to this new moon. The strength of your chart will determine this, or your level of consciousness. This is in the first pada, which falls into Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Mars, which is wanting us to do something new and different in our lives. Mars is being aspected by Saturn in this chart, so this can be frustrating for some or may require some serious patience. Okay, now back to Ree in the studio. This will conjunct Venus also in Purna showing us that these events can involve communication, which may be frustrating as Mars is in Venus Nakshatra, which is aspected by Saturn right now, with romantic partners, children, matters of education, and possibly an ending that's abrupt. Purna is a quiver full of arrows, emphasizing hitting a target or success in a goal. It translates to wealthy again. This can be a new opportunity of something you have been working towards and the ending of a past stormy event. This can also bring more resources that you require. Mercury is in Pusha Nakshatra, creating a Parivartan Yog, which is a mutual exchange between the planets, showing us that healing is taking place when it comes to family, personal relationships, money, and possessions. There is also a sense of being nourished by a mother or a mother-like figure. This is also being able to rest peacefully without fear. There is a sense of frustration, anger, or at the worst, violence, as Saturn in the 9th house has a third aspect onto Mars into the 11th house. Saturn is currently stationed at 25 degrees, making an exact aspect with Mars. So the people, groups, and alliances are frustrated. In the matters of law, the court system, foreign affairs, and foreign nations. We've been seeing a lot of protests for the war. This is exactly what this is. Something is ending and transforming, which is angering some or making some feel like they can't move forward. This can also be in the matters of fertility, women issues, children, and birth. This can also involve the ruling elite and celebrities' dark sides. This can also be symbolic as something new is being birthed as well as something is dying off. Birth can be a painful process, which can lead to a life-changing event. This aspect will end on July 11th when Mars goes into Taurus. Ketu in the 4th house is leading to psychic experiences for many, especially because on this day, Rahu enters Uttarabhadrapada Nakshatra, which can lead to many spiritual awakenings, knowledge of the astral planes, contact with deities, mass Kundalini awakenings. This is the Yogi Nakshatra. What is a yogi? An enlightened being, not someone who practices yoga for physical exercise. That is a very Western definition. These awakenings can be shocking at first for the ego, which may cause some turmoil as the old inauthentic self is dying, and it must die before we are reborn. Connect with your grandparents, physically or spiritually, as they can help you during this time. Rahu in the 10th house is giving us a strong sense of purpose and the ability to go into the world and seek spiritual guidance, or being the one that's giving this type of spiritual guidance in a more unorthodox way. This can bring fame to some and make them revolutionaries. Some can gain recognition due to their spiritual nature. This can be the people rebelling against some type of announcement or law or information about foreign affairs, wars, or dealings, and rebelling against the government and also those in leadership positions, such as the prime minister, presidents of countries, also celebrities, or anybody who's kind of known in the country. Jupiter's in the 12th house, amplifying these spiritual awakenings and making its 5th aspect onto Ketu. And this will be an exact degree on July 9th. Foreknowledge, spiritual knowledge, and religious knowledge can transform those who are willing to look within or do the necessary research, but be careful of overspending your resources or trusting the wrong person who may be a scammer or a wolf in sheep's clothing, as Saturn is in Jupiter's nakshatra in Purva Bhadrapada, which can bring foreign people into your life who are deceptive. And they may not be foreign at all. They could just be regular people who are deceptive as well, not necessarily foreign. Purva Bhadrapada, ruled by Rudra, which is the storm god. Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter and Rahu are all aspecting Scorpio, which is very rare. And this is actually the 6th house, which can lead to a lot of ups and downs in employment, strikes, labor disputes, sudden debts, or suddenly paying off debts, depending on your chart. For the world, this can be matters of war, as the sixth house is warlike activities. This can also literally mean storms, like thunderstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, or earthquakes, as Scorpio is also aspecting Taurus, an earth sign, so shaking the earth. Events with water or lack thereof can happen as well. With Ketu in the fourth house, this could be deaths due to these incidents in the homelands, or also fires, like forest fires, for example, or just regular fires. A separation from family members may happen due to going to foreign lands. The professions that this will include are trades and sales people. This can be writers of all types or writers dealing with astrology, other subjects. It can involve travel and tourism, the hotel, the restaurant industry, the construction of houses, architects, anything to do with houses, all sciences, engineers, teachers, colleges, universities, psychologists, anyone in the spiritual field like priests, monks, gurus, preachers, anyone to do with self-enhancement techniques, communication jobs like radio and television, farmers, cattle, sheep, all professions involving those, transport, and also courier companies, postal service, newspaper, home delivery, so that could be even Uber's delivery, landlords, keepers of homes and temples and churches, religious buildings, maintenance services, anything that's hitting a target with shooting, all sports involving the hands, and space travel as well as travel in the air. So that's just a little bit about what I see coming up. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one.